The park was quiet in the way only summer afternoons could be, unhurried, golden, full of the small sounds of leaves turning in a breeze that had not quite decided to blow. Marine noticed her mother's steps slowing and gestured toward a nearby bench. "Shall we rest a moment?" "That would be lovely." Roanna settled onto the bench and tilted her face toward the sky. Marine sat beside her, following her gaze. Above them, the blue was so clear it looked almost deliberate, and fat white clouds drifted across it with the lazy self-possession of things that had nowhere to be. "The weather has been so beautiful lately," Roanna said softly. "It should be just as perfect on your wedding day." The ceremony was to be held outdoors, and the weather had been Marine's quiet, persistent anxiety since preparations began. But her mother's voice held no worry in it, only warmth. "I wouldn't mind if it rained," Marine said, smiling. "There's an old saying among the common people, that a couple married on a rainy day will live long and happily together." Roanna tilted her head, searching her memory. "Is there really such a saying? I don't think I've heard it." "It doesn't circulate much in noble circles," Marine said, adding the explanation before her mother could feel the small sting of not knowing. "It's the kind of thing people pass around in markets and village squares." Roanna made a soft sound of understanding, then looked at her daughter. "So you truly wouldn't be disappointed?" Marine met her eyes and felt, suddenly, the full weight of how much she loved this woman, quietly, the way one loves something that has always simply been there. "No," she said. "I wouldn't be disappointed at all." For a moment they sat without speaking. The clouds shifted. "After the wedding," Roanna said, "I plan to return home." Marine turned sharply. "What?" Roanna reached over and laid her hand on her daughter's. The gesture was practiced, the particular calm of a woman who has rehearsed what she wants to say and made her peace with it. "This is your home now, Marine. Mine is waiting for me. There are so many memories there." Marine's throat tightened. She knew, without needing to be told, which memories her mother meant. She thought of the way Roanna had wept quietly, privately, the way she did everything, when they had learned that ownership of Zuin's palace had been returned to them. That place had been her parents' life together. It was where her mother had loved her father, where she had raised Marine and her brother, where she had been, perhaps, most fully herself. Marine had only her childhood impressions of it, for Roanna, it held a whole life. "I will visit often," Marine said. "I know you will." Roanna's eyes were warm. "And I will come to you often, too." She looked at her daughter with an expression Marine couldn't quite name, pride, perhaps, but gentler than pride. Something closer to the satisfaction of having done something right. Marine had worked so hard, for so long, in silence, pretending to be something she was not just to keep the two of them alive. Roanna had carried her own guilt through all of it, feeling she had been a burden when she should have been a shelter. But here was her daughter now, days from marrying the Duke of the West, radiant and capable and entirely herself. The distance between what had been and what was sometimes made Roanna feel that she was looking at a miracle. She felt it was finally time. She reached into her pocket and set a small object in Marine's palm, a black stone wrapped carefully in a handkerchief, as though it were something fragile or something sacred. Marine went still the moment she touched it. She looked down at it, and something shifted in her face, a tightening, a flinching, as though the stone had brought something with it that she was not prepared for. She folded the handkerchief back over it, hiding it from sight. "Mother." Her voice came out smaller than she intended. "I'm sorry. I should have done something about this long ago. I've tried to, I just couldn't bring myself to." "I know." Roanna closed her hands gently over her daughter's. "That's why I want to thank you." "Mother, let me tell you something, Marine. Something I couldn't say before." And slowly, quietly, in the warmth of a summer afternoon, Roanna told the story of the stone. Marine listened without moving. As the story unfolded, her expression changed, the careful composure she had been holding dissolved by degrees, softening into understanding, then into something too full to contain. By the time Roanna finished, Marine's eyes were bright with tears she had not yet shed. "Your father must have pressed it into your hand while you were still unconscious," Roanna said gently. Marine looked down. The stone in her palm had broken in two. She stared at the split edge. "They say it cannot be broken even by an axe," Roanna continued, her voice very quiet. "And yet it shattered on its own." "He must have been so relieved," Marine whispered. The tears came then, not the kind one holds back, but the kind that simply arrive. They spilled silently from her eyes, catching the light as they fell, and they were full of grief and love in equal measure, and something else beneath both of those, a strange, unlooked-for peace. She had tried to throw the stone away. More than once. She had wanted to be rid of it, of everything it reminded her of, the accident, the loss, the weight of a life violently interrupted. She had never been able to do it. Now, for the first time, she understood why, and the understanding did not wound her. It held her. Marine pressed the stone against her chest and steadied herself. "I want to carry it on my wedding day," she said. Roanna's expression softened into something luminous. "I think that would be exactly right." They looked at each other, and between them was something that needed no words, the particular quiet of two people who have finally understood the same thing at the same time. Marine knew she had people waiting for her, decisions to return to, an entire wedding that would not arrange itself. She stood to go. But as she rose, a prickling sensation crawled up the back of her neck, a feeling like weight, like pressure, like being observed by something just out of sight. She turned. The park stretched out around them, empty and undisturbed. "What is it?" Roanna asked. "I've been getting this feeling lately," Marine said slowly. "As though someone is watching me." Roanna looked at her with gentle concern. "You've been working yourself half to death over these preparations. Perhaps you just need some air." "Perhaps." Marine forced a small smile and offered her mother her arm. "It's nothing. Let's go." She walked forward and told herself to believe it. "Come in." Julia entered the bedroom with both arms raised and both hands occupied, carrying a garment bag as though it contained something that might shatter if jostled. Which, given what it was perhaps not unreasonable. "Miss Julia." Marine's face lit with genuine delight. Julia had been sent on loan to Adri's workshop the moment they arrived in the West, and Marine had missed her more than she had expected to. "I finished the dress. Adri sends her apologies. She's come down with a cold and couldn't bring it herself." She hung the garment bag on the mannequin and stepped back, watching Marine's face as she drew the cover away. Marine stopped breathing. The dress was extraordinary. Not in the way of things that demand attention, but in the way of things that have been made with extraordinary care, stitch by unhurried stitch, by someone who understood what the occasion meant. Marine stood very still, taking it in. "This must have taken so much time," she said at last. "Not at all, Mississippi." Julia's cheeks had gone pink. "I was happy every moment of it. I'm just glad I could be part of your wedding." "Julia." Marine turned to look at her. "Thank you. Truly." "I'm the one who's grateful," Julia said, with the quiet sincerity of someone who means it exactly as much as they say it. Marine studied her for a moment, this girl who had arrived nervous and halting and had quietly, steadily become someone altogether different. "I'd like to ask you something. Would you consider continuing to work with Adri? I'll support whatever you choose, but I want you to have room to grow into your talent." Julia looked startled. "I would rather stay here, with you." "Then stay," Marine said, "and go to her to learn, as well." "Both things at once." Julia's eyes went wide. "Is that truly possible?" "I want to see what you become," Marine said simply, and took her hands, and meant it. Julia's answer came out on a breath. I'll do my very best. By evening, Marine's posture had given up its professional pretense and settled into the honest slump of the genuinely exhausted consultant. She turned. Da was coming down the corridor with an embroidery basket under one arm and the particular brightness of someone who has not spent the day arguing about floral arrangements. Diameter. You look as though you've been run over by something. I feel as though I've been run over by something, Marine said, with some dignity. There are an unreasonable number of decisions involved in a wedding. No one told me. But because of all of it, Dia said, everything is going to be perfect. Marine straightened slightly, smoothed her expression into something more composed. I'm meant to be setting an example for you, aren't I? As your consultant. She squared her shoulders. Right. I'm fine. Dia's smile deepened with affectionate amusement. Marine glanced over her shoulder. What is it? Dia asked. I've had the strangest feeling all day. She dropped her voice slightly, though there was no one near them. Like someone watching me. Dia looked up and down the empty corridor. Nothing moved. There's no one here. No, Marine agreed, and let out a breath. I must be imagining things. She linked her arm through Dia's. Walk with me? The evening air might help. I was going to suggest it. Their voices drifted away down the corridor, easy and warm. Behind them, from beside a very large ornamental tree in the garden below, Gerard straightened up. Beside him, Olive stood more slowly, plucking grass and small leaves out of his hair with the expression of a man who was reconsidering his career. We were not caught, Olive observed. 34 hours and 22 minutes, Gerard said. Olive looked at him. Until the wedding. 34 hours and 22 minutes. He paused to let this land. Who invented this tradition? You're the Duke. Just change it. It is a long-standing Western tradition, Gerard said, with the slight furrowing of his brow that signaled he was not going to discuss this further. It makes no logical sense. Two people not seeing each other for a week does not determine the quality of a marriage. Surely you don't believe in superstition, Your Excellency. From across the courtyard, carried on the evening air, Marine's voice reached them clearly. A silence settled over the garden. Marine believes in it, Gerard said. His voice had gone slightly hollow. Olive looked at the Duke, at his squared shoulders and his furrowed brow and the quiet devastation in his expression, and felt, with some surprise, a twinge of genuine sympathy. 34 hours, Olive said, not unkindly. It will pass. Gerard said nothing. He looked in the direction Marine's voice had gone, long after it had faded completely.